if you're not confused, you're not paying attention. And I thought that quote from Tom Peters was an apt one for this week's videos and newsletter. Because if you are looking at what's being said in the press about remote work and looking at social media, you will be totally confused. There are so many different stances being taken, arguments being made about whether people should go back into the office on a full-time basis, be allowed to work fully remote, set their own schedules, be mandated to attend a couple of days a week or specific days of the week, and it's all over the place. And I'll give you an example. So in a recent search I did, it came up with Steve Schwartzman. Now he's the CEO of the Blackstone Group, and that's the world's biggest commercial landlord. And he accused remote workers, and if you're working remotely, this is you. He accused remote workers of staying away from the office because it means they don't work as hard and they save money. So he was accusing remote workers of not going into the office because they might have to work harder than they do when they're at home, and they'll save money on their commute. That is not the reason workers are staying away from an office. And he also went on to say that it's likely firms will cut back on space once their current leases come to an end. Now, as I've said, he is the CEO of the world's largest commercial landlord. I think there's a vested interest there, don't you? And then in total contrast, stark contrast, Forbes reported on the Scoop Flex Report Q4 2023. And this was an analysis of remote work policies and revenue growth at 554 public companies, and they did this in partnership with the Boston Consulting Group. It found that the average public company that gives employees choice over whether to come into the office also outperformed on revenue growth over the past 3 years by 16 percentage points compared to companies with more restrictive policies. It showed that the 3-year industry-adjusted revenue growth rate of companies with what Scoop calls a fully flexible policy, meaning they allow employees or teams to choose when or whether to come in the office or are fully remote, is 20%, 21% revenue growth. Companies with more restrictive policies, so these have corporate mandates for a couple of days or require full time, only had 5% adjusted revenue growth.